carbivores? It's Benjamin here. Now, in this video, I want to talk to you about honey. That's right, honey from honeybees, and why it is not vegan, and why vegans don't consume it. All right, here we go. There's a common misconception that honeybees make honey for humans, or somehow just they make more than they need and we're actually doing them a favor by taking some of their excess honey off their hands. Well, actually, nothing could be further from the truth. First of all, at one point in North America and Europe, there were over 3,500 different types of bees. And each of the different bees had different varieties of plants that they were pollinating and propagating. But then colonialization happened, and the colonialists had already domesticated a specific type of bee that they were exploiting for the honey and the wax. So obviously the mass breeding and exploitation of this domesticated honeybee has crowded out other nectar foraging insects, including the bumblebee. And so these insects are on the steady decline. So the selective breeding of this specific type of honeybees has narrowed their gene pool, like a kind of inbreeding, which has led to a disease and die-offs within these species. Given the growing demand of honey and products from bees, these insects are farmed, just like all these other farmed animals that we exploit, like chickens, cows, and pigs. The honeybee might visit up to 1,500 different flowers in order to gather enough pollen to fill its little pollen stomach, as a separate stomach is going to begin to break down the pollen into nectar. Back at the hive, the bee is regurgitating the nectar in its mouth and passing it, and they're chewing it, and they're turning the nectar into honey. Each bee produces only 1/12 of a teaspoon in its entire lifetime. Honey is the bee's energy source. It provides essential nutrients for them, and it's essential to the survival of the bees. When farmers remove the honey from the colony, they replace it with basically high fructose corn syrup or some type of simple syrup, which obviously is way less healthier for the bees. In addition, the handling and removal of the honey from the hives causes death and injury to a lot of the bees. Queen bees have their wings clipped in order to keep them in the colony. Beekeepers do not want their queens flying away and starting colonies elsewhere.
So what I like to do to pick up the queen is approach her from behind and then gently squeeze on her thorax. And I just lift up that left wing and just make sure there are no feet or legs sticking in the way, and then snip that off. So now she's marked and clipped, and we'll put her into a cage and we'll let that paint dry. That's how we handle queens, cage them, mark them, and clip them.
Beekeepers will often kill off their entire colony as well if the colony gets a disease or through the winter months. Instead of rehabilitating or maintaining the colony, the beekeeper will often just find it more economical to start a new colony.
Pour 500 mils of petrol into a container and pour that slowly over the top bars. Get the fire going at a certain rate. You can slowly start adding your hive material. Poured petrol into the hive, and petrol is a very flammable material, so just take care as you're adding the material.
A common definition of the word vegan is a way of life that seeks to exclude all forms of exploitation and cruelty on animals. Veganism is doing the best that you possibly and practically can to avoid causing suffering and harm to any sentient being. I think we can all agree that stealing is wrong. So how can you justify stealing this precious honey from the honeybees? You can't. It's simple. Bees need their honey to live. We don't. It's theirs, not ours. It's that simple. So in conclusion, avoid consuming or buying honey or any derivatives from the bees, like beeswax or royal jelly. There's so many alternatives to honey. There's even a vegan honey made from apples. There's agave, there's date syrup, there's molasses, there's cane sugar, there's stevia leaf. And please continue to educate yourself about the plight of bees and animals alike. We are fed so many lies about the conditions that animals live in and their existence on this earth. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.
Hey, thank you for supporting us on Patreon, and go to theveganblaze.com. Thanks. Bye.